Which artist brush is best? A question I would venture to guess that every painter at some point has asked themselves, and today we're going to explore how this question might best be answered. Hi, this is Bones here from Bones Art Studio, and before I get to the subject matter of today's video, I'd like to thank those of you who have already subscribed to this very new to YouTube channel. I really appreciate your continued support and encouragement. It really does mean a lot to me, so thank you. Okay, on with the topic at hand. Today, I want to talk about brushes. I hear new painters ask all the time, which brushes are best for me to use? I asked myself this same question when I started painting, and I still ask myself this very question today when I'm involved in the painting process. The reason I asked myself this question when I started painting is probably the same reason all young artists do. It's because there are so many choices. Should I use long or short handle brushes? What shape brush is best to use? A round, a flat, a bright, a filbert, an Egbert? Should I be using a rigger, a liner, a dagger, an angle, a sash brush? What even is a sash brush? Moreover, the question seems to get more complicated when we consider the media we might be working in. Which brushes should I use when I'm working in acrylics? Which brushes should I use when I'm working in oils? Which brushes should I use when I'm working in watercolor? Then there's the question of synthetic or natural brushes. The choices really do seem endless, and you could become exhausted before you even put your first mark on... Oh no, I haven't chosen what I'm painting on yet. Even more decisions. Okay, let's put the question of substrates aside for now because that's a whole other topic and best addressed in a separate video. For now, let's just focus on the issue at hand, which is which brushes are best. Before I directly address this question, though, let me first mention that I work primarily in oils and acrylics, so the bulk of my learned experience is from this perspective. I have very little experience with watercolor, so for the purposes of this video, I'm going to be speaking from this viewpoint. There are plenty of watercolor artists here on YouTube who are quite willing to share their extensive knowledge and address this same dilemma from a watercolorist perspective. Two of whom immediately come to mind are Emily Olson and Liron Yankonsky, and I've put links to their respective channels down in the description if you're interested in watercolor-specific content. If you're not already subscribers to their channels or are unfamiliar with them, I really do encourage you to check them out. They are amazing artists in their own right. Okay, now back to the matter at hand. Which artist brushes are best? Well, my quest for the answer to this philosophical question led me to a very pragmatic conclusion, and that is this. The right brush to use is the one that allows me to render my intended effect most efficiently and effectively. What does this mean, and how exactly did I arrive at this conclusion? It means that there's no one single answer to that question, that the answer depends on the particular task at hand, and that to make that determination, I must have particular knowledge regarding how my different brushes transfer paint to the substrate I'm using. Emphasis on the word my. Now, how did I arrive at this conclusion? That's very simple. By using the different brushes that are in my collection, by playing with them, by using them, and by paying attention to how they differ from each other. By doing lots and lots of different studies with various brushes, I learned the capabilities and limitations of the different brushes in my collection. More specifically, by studying the different marks that my different brushes are capable of making when I use them. Okay, so why do I keep emphasizing the words my and I? That's also very simple. It's because, and I say this with all due respect to my fellow artists, I'm not really concerned with how anyone else's brushes work for them when I'm executing a piece of my own. How someone else uses their materials doesn't really help me in the moment I'm contemplating how I will render an effect. Now, this is not to say that I don't have a natural curiosity to learn what methods work for other artists. Indeed, I'm extremely interested in learning about other artists' methods and work practices. Why such arrogance, then, you might ask? Well, I'm not being arrogant at all. Quite the opposite, really. I'm simply saying that while I'm in the moment of creating a piece, and I don't know how my tools are going to work for me, I'm already at a disadvantage to successfully accomplish my intended effect. And no one wants to start from a point of disadvantage because painting is hard enough when you know what you're doing, let alone when there are gaps in one's fundamentals. And quite honestly, using the same brushes as another artist doesn't guarantee that I will make a mark even similar to them, even if I do use the same brush, paints, palette, substrate. It doesn't matter, because truthfully, what any other artist did or does with specific materials has no real impact on me in the moment of execution if I don't already possess the specific knowledge to apply that theoretical knowledge pragmatically. I don't have another artist's eyes. I don't have another artist's hands, and I don't have another artist's sensibilities. I only have my own eyes for which to perceive nature. I have only my own hands by which to utilize my tools, and I have only my sensibilities, which will guide me through the entire process. So, as artists, we use our observational skills first and foremost. I think it's fair to say that we spend our entire lives honing our observational skills, or at very least, conscientiously exercising them frequently. And I propose that the best way to answer the question, what brush is best, is by knowing what any given brush in our collection is capable of when we use it, and that knowledge comes from having employed its use over and over again through numerous studies and exercises. Make a point of trying some of the brushes you're unfamiliar with in your collection from time to time. Take advantage of leftover paint on your palette. Before you discard it, take out some of the brushes you haven't used or have used so infrequently you're not familiar with or uncomfortable using them, and play with them. But do it with purpose. Notice what kind of marks you can produce with them. Notice how the paint flows from them. Notice how they feel in your hand. Play and have fun exploring the different brushes you've acquired over time, but do it conscientiously. Make note of the critical characteristics, either in a notebook of some sort or electronically, such that it will help you to determine whether to use a particular brush to achieve a particular desired effect. To sum it up, I propose we use our past observations to better inform our present decisions to answer the question, which brush is best? Oh, and let's not forget about the palette knife, but which one to use. If you liked this video or found it in any way helpful, please give it a thumbs up and please consider subscribing to this channel for more content regarding all things art. Once again, this is Bones from Bones Art Studio. Thanks for watching. By the way, this is a sash brush. Again, thanks for watching.